Alright, welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Berlino here. And, well, it's time for another random record pool video. Actually, my idea for this week was that I was going to do another twin album covers video, but then at the last minute I decided I was just in the mood for a random record pool. That's just how I'm feeling tonight, man. And, I've got to go with my muse, man. It's like, Alright. So I'm doing a random record pool. As you can see, I have my shelf all cleared away and ready for action. And I have my jet blue blindfold. So let's get right on it, shall we? All right. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Alright, what do we have here? Oh, Crying Shames with Synthesis. Alright, now this is the third Crying Shames album. I think they only have 3, right? All 3 Crying Shames albums are really great. But I would say that this is probably my least favorite of the 3. The best... This is a pretty nice copy too. This is a really clean copy. There's a little bit of ring wear there, but this is actually not a bad copy at all, and it has the company sleeve there, and pretty damn clean. Yeah, you know what? I think this may be a more recent a copy of this that I bought because it's pretty nice. I think I have another one, in the archives at my mom's house. That's nowhere near as nice as this, but what does this have on it? This has Greenberg, Glickstein, Charles, David Smith, and Jones, a classic. Baltimore Oriole. Looking at the album, the song titles, I realized this is actually the album of theirs. Not only that I like the least, but I know the least. Yeah, I don't know this one as well. The second album, A Scratch in the Sky. A Scratch in the Sky, man. If you like good, like mid-60s, oh boy. If you like good mid-60s, kind of psych pop, the second Crying Shames album, A Scratch in the Sky, check it out. Like the first album, what's the Sugar and Spice is the first album, but the second album, it's really all about the second album. That is their finest one. This is sort of their last hurrah. Not quite as good, but a perfectly good record too. But I mean, if you're going to want to start out with them, definitely start out with A Scratch in the Sky. That's like the one. That's all I have for that one. All right, album number 2. I'm going to do how many am I going to do? I guess I'm going to do. Oh, this thing's getting a little loose. How many am I going to do? I don't know. Let's see. We'll find out. Okay, what do I have here? Oh, the first Barry Manilow album. Yes, that's right. The first Barry Manilow album. And this is... Okay. Now this is a sealed copy of the first Barry Manilow album on Bell Records. It's a cutout. Yeah, and it's the one where he's wearing the Screw t-shirt on the back cover. Because Barry is edgy. He's wearing a Screw t-shirt. But man, this first Barry album... I'm a Barry fan. I am a Barry Manilow fan. I mean, only up to a certain point. I mean, I love 70s Barry Manilow. I loved Barry Manilow in the 70s. When I was a kid, I liked Barry Manilow. I liked all the singles I heard on the radio. And I had my aunt Vivian had a lot of those albums, so I would hear like This One's For You and Trying to Get the Feeling Again, Manilow 2 and all that stuff. Well, this was reissued after he changed. Like, he was on Bell for this album, and then when he did Manilow 2, he was also on Bell for like a minute. But then Mandy became a huge hit, and then he switched over to Arista, and Arista reissued the first two albums. Manilow 2 was identical, same cover, everything exactly the same. But this album, they completely redid. As well, here, let me show you. I have it here. They redid it with this cover, and then called it Barry Manilow 1. See, this first album, the original one, is just called Barry Manilow, but Arista put it out as Barry Manilow 1, and they remixed it and the whole thing. So this is a very different version of the album. This is the original one, and there's such good stuff on this. Cloudburst, One of These Days is an amazing song. Oh My Lady is a bit rockin'. Yeah, Barry is trying to be, he's being a little edgy, he's being a little rockin'. I Am Your Child, this has Could It Be Magic. This is the album that has Could It Be Magic, and which is a great song. 7 More Years, Flashy Lady. Flashy Lady is definitely, that's some edgy Manilow, some edgy early Manilow. But the track on this album for me personally, and one of my very favorite Barry songs, possibly my very favorite Barry Manilow song, is a song called Sweet Life. Sweet Life is amazing. It is. I can't even describe it, man. It's I think to people who don't really like Barry much, who listen to it, they're just gonna say, it just sounds like a Barry Manilow song, slow ballad, piano based. It's an amazing song. If you're a Manilow fan, you know Sweet Life and you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, and really quick, while I'm showing you copies of the first Manilow album, I have one with a very, very bad scribbly autograph that I got on Broadway here, in Manhattan over there, one night after one of his shows, and yeah, Manilow. Okay, let's go for another one here. Making sure my phone is on there. Okay. Ooh! Motorhead. Overkill. This is about as far away from Manilow as you can get. But you know what? I'm actually very lucky that out of all the Motorhead albums that I have in there, and I think almost any Motorhead fan and almost any metal fan is going to tell you, this is the Motorhead album. The Motorhead album. This is their second album from 1979. And, I mean, this is absolutely bona fide all killer, no filler. There is not a bum note on this record. Overkill, Stay Clean, I Won't Pay Your Price, I'll Be Your Sister, Capricorn, No Class, Damage Case, Tear You Down, Metropolis, and Limb from Limb. This is absolutely as great as this kind of music gets. I mean, this is definitely by far the best Motorhead album, and most people really love the live album, No Sleep Till Hammersmith. This is basically the studio version of that in a way. I mean, like almost every single song on this album is on that live album, and I think a lot of people tend to prefer the live album versions. I prefer this one. This album I can't say enough. And this is actually an original. I don't know if it's original, but it's a '79 bronze pressing, and it's in pretty decent shape. And it is a Stone Cold classic. stone cold classic. If you have been thinking about checking out Motorhead, this is your album to listen to first, without question. And that is not even an opinion, that is a fact. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me do an edit here because I don't want these files to get too big. Okay. All right. My blindfold's getting a little loose. What have we here? Oh, ho, 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 ho. Ooh. Paul Williams, Someday Man. Oh. This is an absolutely amazing record. This is one of my very favorite albums of all time. I fucking love this album so much. And this... Okay, no, this is not... See, I think I have a couple copies down there. This is my, not quite as good copy. I have a really, 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 really beautiful copy down here. Let's see, where is it? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'm cheating by cherry picking copies here, but this is my absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous copy of this album. But all right, so anyway, Paul Williams. Now this is Paul Williams' first solo album on Reprise, on the Reprise label, complete with the Reprise inner sleeve. Huh? But yeah, oh, see, this is my lesser copy. Like I was mentioning, I have a little bit of a split there, huh? But still, this is kind of like the one I would rather play because my other copy is my other copy is like a museum piece. This one is the one I'm actually going to go to if I'm going to play the record. But so now, Paul Williams had been in a band in the late '60s called the Holy Mackerel with his brother Mentor, and you know, Paul was writing songs with Roger Nichols and co-producing and writing, you know, making demos and stuff for songs that ended up being recorded by the Carpenters and any number of people, you know, Three Dog Night, any number of people from the early 70s. But now, this is the one and only Paul Williams album that he made with Roger Nichols. This is basically a Paul Williams / Roger Nichols albums, but under the name of just Paul Williams. And this is by far not... Well, I was going to say this is by far Paul Williams' best album. Really, for me, this is the only Paul Williams album. I mean, you know, there's the Phantom of the Paradise soundtrack, but that's kind of in a different class. Just as far as Paul Williams albums, this is what you want. That's it. Period. And this is an absolutely incredible album. Someday Man, title track, one of my favorite, if not my very favorite, Monkees track, which they did a cover of this for their 1969 single, the one that has Listen to the Band on side 2. But man, so many people, she's so good to me, or she's too good to me. Morning I'll Be Moving On. Oh my God. You know, beautiful orchestral arrangements, you know, horns, strings. It's just, oh my God. Time. The song Time on this is... there are no words. Time is just a beautiful song. Great lyrics. Paul Williams was the lyricist, and you know, and it's just, yeah, incredible work on this. Trust, To Put Up With You, Do You Really Have a Heart, I Know You, and Roan Pony. Yeah, I mean, you know, anybody's wondering about the fuss is about, you know, what's with all the fucking hipsters and Paul Williams and blah blah blah, whatever. Listen to this record. This is an absolutely beautiful record, an incredible record. Again, I repeat, one of my favorite records of all time. And anyway, Someday Man by Paul Williams. Yeah, because see, after he made this record, he and Roger Nichols kind of parted ways, and so every Paul Williams album after this one is kind of just an entirely different thing, and it's just not as good. It's just not as good. Okay. Edit. Put on my loose blindfold again. Alright. This? Oh! Carole King's Welcome Home album. Now, this album, I don't really know a lot about this album, and I'm not that familiar with it. It's one of those records that, see, I love Carole King, but I'm not as geeky about Carole King as I am about, the Beatles or, say, The Who or The Kinks or something, So, as much as I love Carole King, there are certain albums, or a lot of albums, really, that I don't know as well as others, like, Tapestry, and really kind of like the first 3 or 4 Carole King albums are the ones that I'm most familiar with, but this is one that I basically disregarded for the longest time and didn't bother with. I kind of had this feeling like after a certain date that I needn't even bother. This is later 70s. This is like, when is this, 78? Yeah, this is 78. And so I kind of, in my head, years and years ago, I just kind of thought, oh, Carole King in 78, don't bother. So, at one point, maybe about 10 years ago, maybe out of boredom, I don't remember what it was, but I went onto YouTube or wherever I went, maybe it was Spotify, I don't know. Was Spotify around 10 years ago? I don't remember. Wherever it was somewhere on the internet, and I decided to poke around through this album and see, what? Is there anything good on it? And I ended up really being pleasantly surprised. I mean, this is a pretty damn good album. And so then I decided, how many millions of copies have I passed up of this album? Now I want one. And wouldn't you know it, as always happens, you see an album like this a million times and you either just gloss over it or you go, I'm not interested in that. And the minute you decide you want it, nobody has it. It's nowhere. And, the dollar bins were just bursting with this record, right? The minute I decided I wanted a copy, boom, they vanished from the planet. So it took me a while to finally find one. But after I did, I plopped it down and I bought it. This is a really great album. I believe this is the one, this is the boyfriend that she had at the time who was a little on the violent side. Yeah, I read her book, and I believe it was this guy, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't want to besmirch your name if it's not you, but I'm pretty sure this is the guy who was, yeah. Anyway, but the record is great. Okay. Let's go up here. Okay. What do you have here? Oh. Well, this isn't a very exciting record, but it's the Take It Away 12-inch. The Paul McCartney Take It Away 12-inch single. Now, I say it's not very exciting, not because I don't love this song, just because it's a 12-inch single. But you know what? Take It Away, a 1982 single from the Tug of War album. Honestly, Take It Away is one of my very favorite Paul McCartney singles. And, I tend not to be an 80s guy, as everybody pretty much knows. But there are certain gems, man. I Take It Away, I don't know if I really loved Take It Away that much in the 80s. I've just grown over time to really love it. And it's like, I really just love the sort of ethereal verses, because it's kind of like two songs sort of matched together. You know what I mean? It's like the chorus is really bouncy and exuberant and upbeat and happy, and then these verses go into this kind of moody just like they're kind of moody. It's almost like a 10cc I'm Not in Love, kind of a bed of whoo underneath it. So great. Makes that track, just makes it so great. And yeah, one of my favorite McCartney singles. Now this I bought not because of Take It Away, but because it had a B-side on it. And it has Dress Me Up as a Robber, which is from the record, but it also has a track called I'll Give You a Ring. And yeah, I didn't have that track, so I thought, oh, well, I must have it. And you know what's funny about that is that I don't even remember how that track goes. So, all right, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I've done 6. I'm going to do 4 more. Okay. To make an even 10, which I think is what I normally do, right? What have we here? Oh! Rush! Caress of Steel. Alright. Well, Rush, Caress of Steel. This... I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if this is actually a particularly good copy of this. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. And I don't know which pressing this is. I'm actually really not that great with pressings. I mean, I'm great with pressings as far as, you know, if it's in the same year or in the same decade, but as far as like if it's Monarch or if it's, you know, whatever, that I'm not really too swift on there. But this is the third Rush album. This is Rush's third album, and it has oh yeah, Bastille Day. What a great song that is. Yeah, you know, the Necromancer. This is really where they got really kind of started to get proggy. Like the really proggy side of Rush start coming out on this record. This isn't one that I am as into for that reason. You know what I mean? I think I've talked about this on other videos. There was a time when I didn't like Rush at all because they were, in my mind, they were too proggy. I didn't like Geddy Lee's voice and everything, but because of the documentary, Beyond the Lighted Stage, I really softened up on Rush and really started to like them. And even with that, when it comes down to it, what I like about Rush are the songs. Like the songs, you know, like, Closer to the Heart, and, you know, Subdivisions, and stuff like that. That's what I like about Rush. So, therefore, stuff like 2112, which is just like everybody's favorite, right, is not my favorite, because I'm just not into, like, these sidelong suites, right? This album is one that I don't listen to as much for that reason. This is like where they like I said, where they first start going really prog. They didn't even sell, you know, 3 copies of this thing when it came out, and they were on the verge of getting dropped. And then, of course, as the story goes, they end up putting out 2112, thinking, well, screw it, we're about to get dropped. We may as well go for broke and make the album we really want to make. And they went all the way in that direction, and that ended up being their breakthrough. What do you know? But yeah, just the same, it may not be one of my favorites, Caress of Steel, but it's still great. I mean, you know, Rush is great. Even if you don't think so, because Rush is pretty polarizing. And I've been on both sides of this, so. Alright. Next. Oh, Smokey and the Miracles, Away We A Go-Go. And this is my mono copy. Not really the best copy. It's a little bit, you know, a little bit worn. But you know, Smokey and the Miracles albums in really great condition, at least from a certain period, are pretty tough to come by. I'm really surprised. Yeah, this really isn't that great of a copy. It's just it's just a copy. That's the thing with Miracles records. I'm really surprised with Smokey and the Miracles and James Brown albums, I find they're not that plentiful. And I feel like those records sold. So, I mean, these Smokey and the Miracles records were just chock full of major singles. These guys were an absolute major group, all over the charts. Yet, like, this album I don't feel like is that tough to come by, but most of their 60s albums aren't that easy to find. And they tend to be pretty expensive. This one is probably just about the most common from the period. This one and Going to a Go-Go. Great albums, though. What's on this? I mean, this has singles. I mean, there really isn't a huge single on this. I mean, the two most popular songs on this would be "Oh, Be My Love," which is just, oh my God, what a song that is. Tied with More Love. More Love and Be My Love are my two favorite Smokey and the Miracles songs. But it also has Save Me, which is that's kind of a deeper cut, but man, that's arguably their best deep cut. Yeah, but there's a cover it's a cover of Walk On By on here, and yeah, I mean, this is mostly Beauty's on the Skin Deep. I mean, yeah, I mean, this definitely doesn't have any of the that's the weird thing about this, see? This doesn't really have any of the huge hits on it, yet it's one of the more common records from this period. I mean, what? I don't understand. I don't get it. Oh well. But you know what? Still a great record. Well, alright. It's a very sweaty, hot night here in the city of New York City, and I'm sure I'm very shiny. Oh, the first Country Joe and the Fish album. Oh yeah, Country Joe and the Fish. Now this is a mono copy of Country Joe and the Fish. Complete with the company sleeve. But yeah, this is how. I mean, not even sure how good a condition this is. Let me check it out. Oh, actually, this is not bad. This is not bad. So that's the thing about records like this, especially by bands like this. The mono copies that you find are almost always trashed. The stereo copies are always in better condition than the mono ones. I mean, finding mono copies of this, The Doors, or any of that kind of stuff, yeah, it's just really tough. It's not that tough to find the records, but they're always trashed. I don't know. I mean, but this is probably the best copy of this in mono, the best condition copy I have, or that I've seen of this album in mono. But man, there's such great stuff on this. Not So Sweet, Martha Lorraine. Oh my God, Happiness is a Porpoise Mouth. Section 43, Superbird, Sand Lonely Times, yeah, Bass Strings, Masked Marauder, Flying High. This is a really underrated album from the whole San Francisco scene, man. Electric Music for the Mind and Body. I mean, is that... I think it's just self-titled, and that Electric Music for the Mind and Body is just sort of a tag, kind of like the first Rolling Stones album, England's Newest Hitmakers. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's just it's just a self-titled. But this album, I mean, this is one of those records that I think when I was younger, when I was first getting into really exploring 60s albums and 60s bands, I had a tendency to kind of shy away from Country Joe and the Fish because of the name of the band. Country Joe, I kind of thought, oh, okay, it's probably country. And there are some kind of countryish elements here and there, but really it's not. It's more psych. It's San Francisco. It has that San Francisco sound, and it can be a little jammy in parts. It can be, yeah, I don't know. If you don't like that kind of stuff, like the Quicksilver Messenger Service kind of vibe, you might not get into this. But it's just this great kind of Farfisa organ, and yeah, I really like this album a lot. And Country Joe McDonald, hanging out in Berkeley to this day. Country Joe and the Fish. Alright. Let me get over here. Oh. Hollies, yeah. Dear Eloise / King Midas in reverse. Yeah, this is a mono copy. I'm pulling a lot of mono copies of records. This is a really nice copy of this. I mean, really, like, just, you know, I don't know if you can see, just, you know, the spine. There's no ring wear, and and it's a demonstration record to boot. But no company sleeve, no label sleeve. Oh shit! Wait a minute. Ooh, I didn't even know I had this. It's a white label. Okay, I mean, yeah, I see it's demonstration on the back, but a lot of times you get those, and you know, like the ones with gold embossed promo stamps on the back. Usually they're not white label. This is a white label. I didn't even realize that I had a white label of this. Wow. I mean, Dear Eloise, Wish You a Wish, Butterfly. I mean, this is basically the U.S. version of Butterfly, which means the lesser Butterfly. It means it has fewer songs than Butterfly, but come on. I mean, King Midas in reverse, Would You Believe, you know, Away, 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 Maker, Step Inside. So, I'm discovering I have a white label of this album, and you are there. Edit. Yeah, I don't know if I made this clear. The reason why I always make these edits is because I shoot these on my phone, and then I have to transfer them to my computer because Apple and everybody has decided that we don't need cables for anything anymore. And it used to be when I was able to simply plug my phone into my computer and just import everything, it was so easy. Now it's a hassle because I have to do everything through Wi-Fi, and my Wi-Fi in my apartment is terrible. It's absolutely god-awful. It's the worst Wi-Fi I've ever had. And here's a little behind-the-scenes information for you. Every single one of these videos that I shoot for my channel, whether it's one of my solo videos, whether it's one of the singles of the year with Tommy and Crystal, when I'm done, I have to go to the subway station where there's Wi-Fi that's better than the Wi-Fi I have in my apartment here to load the videos up into my WeTransfer so I can then get it onto my computer. And I do all the edits because it's a lot quicker for me to upload shorter videos. If I had a whole 45-minute, hour-long video that I was trying to upload, you'd still be waiting for last March's videos. I mean, so all right. Anyway, so let's do one more. I'm gonna do one more. Oh! There are but 4 small faces. Yeah, now this is a great album by the Small Faces. Now I'm really happy to see, this isn't really that great of a copy, is it? Yeah, I kind of realized, look at the spine on this. It's pretty rough. It's a bit rough. This is an album that I don't often see really great copies of, and I'm not really sure if I even have a great copy of it. In fact, this is a really, really rough-ass copy now that I'm looking at it. In fact, this is practically unplayable. I don't know why I have it. I may have bought this. It's possible I bought this just for the cover, to maybe put in a frame or something. That may be why I have this. Certainly I have a better copy than this, but this one's rough. But I think also I may have bought it because I probably... This is one of those albums where there are two different versions of the cover. There's this image, this color image, but there's also a pressing of it where it's the exact same cover, same image, same graphic design and everything, but it's in black and white. Speaking of Carole King, it's like the Carole King City album, right? Carole King in the City. And I may have bought this because I probably had a black and white cover and I wanted a color one. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to look back in there. I may have a good color copy of this. I don't remember. But this copy is really trashed. But anyway, this is the US version of the album, so of course it has the big singles on it. Now, if you went to the UK version of this record, it's not going to have stuff like Itchy Park and Tin Soldier. And just, oh my god, but there's so many great songs on this. Talk to You, Up the Wooden Hills, My Way of Giving, I'm Only Dreaming. You know, yeah, I mean, just all these great songs. Show Me the Way, Here Come the Nice. I mean, come on. And, I don't know. I hope I have a better copy of it in there somewhere, or in the archives. I don't know. That remains to be seen. Actually, you know what? I'm going to look right now, because I feel like this shouldn't be a cliffhanger. We should find out. Let's see. Nope, I don't have another one here. I must have one at my mom's. I hope. Okay, so there you go. That's my third installment of the random record pool series. And thanks for everybody who's been watching the videos, as I always say at the end of all these things. And also, as I always say at the end of all these things, thank you to subscribers, everyone who has subscribed. But also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you do subscribe, and you subscribe because you want to get notifications so you know when new videos are coming out, then click that little bell, because that is how you're going to get notifications. If you subscribe but you don't click the little bell that's next to the little subscribe button, then you're not really going to be notified. I mean, I have a friend, Eitan. Shout out to Eitan. You're watching right now. I know you are. He's messaging me going, so when are your videos coming out? And I'm like, didn't you subscribe? Well, it's because he had subscribed, but he had not clicked the little bell. But that has been taken care of. He now has clicked the bell, and he now knows when these videos are coming out. And you should know too. Alright? So, yeah, comment and like and all that kind of stuff. And, yeah. Thank you to everybody again. And, this Thursday is going to be a continuation of the Singles of the Year series, and Crystal Durant and Tommy Von Voigt are going to be back, and we're going to be doing our favorite singles of 1968. Yeah, oh man. So do come back on Thursday for that, because it's going to be, like every 60s year, it's going to be epic. Okay? And, alright, I will see you guys soon.